Hello everybody, hello everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Art Eugene, and today we're going to be talking about how to use Python for data science. And as a matter of fact, I have issued a couple of books on Python. So my recent book is Basic Python for Data Management, and for finance and marketing. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing today. And we'll talk a little bit about how to get in data science, what's important, where to start. And today I'm at RoboticView. So that's a bootcamp where you could take courses that will teach you Python from scratch. And also here you can find courses Python for data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. So that's what I've been doing for the last 9 years. And also please check our website, because here you'll find a bunch of different resources. By the way, little announcement, because what we're doing, we actually doing Python for finance. So I guess that's going to be a couple of Mondays from now. And I think I need to fix my system just a bit. And I hope you could hear me. By the way, we have our chats going on. So if you have any questions or if you want to say something, please say. Why my camcorder is not working? Just one. I see why. Hold on a second. Yes, so now should be working. Okay, yeah, so that's me. Hi everybody again. Let me move this away. All right, so yeah, so a couple of weeks from now we're doing this Python for finance. So if you actually like planning to use Python for finance, so that's I would definitely recommend you to join us. So it's totally free. All right, and a couple of words about what environment we're going to be using today. So if you're planning to do some work with me, that's totally fine, because I'm planning to use Google Colab. You could just go and Google Colab. So it's like really easy. It's totally free. You don't need to install anything. All you have to do is to just log in with a Google email or any other email for that matter. And that's what we're going to be using today. And let me say a couple of words about Google Colab. What is Google Colab? So Google Colab is pretty much Anaconda online. So Anaconda is environment, and Python is very popular programming language. So there are a bunch of different environments exist where you could actually run Python and do data analysis. But if you're planning to do data science, I would definitely recommend you to install Anaconda. So again, it's totally free. You could just Google Anaconda, and Anaconda is a package that comes with Python itself, a bunch of other things, and it comes with Python libraries such as Pandas, NumPy, and Matplotlib. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to show you how to use these libraries. And if you download Anaconda, everything already in there, you know. So then you don't need to go and download and install every library one by one. Now, obviously, that will take some time to download and install. So that's why I recommend you to use Google Colab. And again, that's totally free and easily accessible. And you could just like open Google Colab, and here you could click File, and they call files notebooks. So if you've never used that before, that's like really easy. I'm going to show it to you. So click Notebook, and then it will get you this notebook. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right, so this thing called the cell, that's pretty much where you want to write your code. Obviously, everybody's using AI these days, but not today. We're not going to be using AI today. So we'll just write some Python code, okay? Now, I see that more people just join us. That's great. Again, we will be using Google Colab. You could just Google it, COLAB. And again, what we're doing here, so I represent RoboticView. So that's bootcamp for data science and machine learning. And by the way, speaking of courses, tomorrow we start in our Python intensive, so that one for complete beginners. If you've never used Python, so I would definitely recommend you to take this one. And we do it actually, so that's a night track, so we do from 6 to 9. We meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I explain everything about Python. So this is very practical course, and I guarantee that after this course you'll be able to write Python code on your own. All right, now today I'm going to show you what you could do with this knowledge. And today we're not going to be doing like a lot of basic stuff that we usually cover in Python intensive. So today we will be doing Python data science intensive. So I'm going to show you what you could do if you take this course, and how you could actually apply Python for real world problems. Because I usually get this question asked like, all right, cool, but why Python is so popular and what can I do with that? So Python is popular because it's fast and efficient. That's first thing. Second thing, why it's so popular, because you could actually gather information from different sources in real time. So for example, if you're in finance, you could get information from different sources, from APIs, maybe get that data from Excel files, maybe get data from databases, maybe get that data simply by scraping that stuff. You see, that's why Python is so popular. And Python is so popular that even Excel added Python to Excel these days. I haven't tried it yet, honestly, because I'm using Mac, and as far as I know, they released that version only for Windows. All right, so now let's do some practical work and let's see what we could do with Python. All right, I hope you here in Google Colab. And by the way, let me see if our chat's running. Just want to make sure that chat is up and running, and so I could answer your questions. And where is our chat? Hey. Okay, yeah, I see now our chat. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to post them. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat, and I'll answer your questions in real time, because all our courses, we do no pre-recorded videos, we do live and online. All right, so and I'm sorry about that, because I'm in New York and it's kind of noisy here in New York. Yeah, that's New York. All right, anyway, so let me explain you how to use Google Colab. So that's a cell. If you need more cells, you could click here, you're going to get more cells, or you could remove cells. You see, pretty easy, right? So the best thing about Google Colab is that you could actually import all the libraries. So first thing first, what is a library? Library is a collection of functions. So somebody actually wrote those functions for us so that we could actually use them. And I want to show you a couple of things actually. So let's import NumPy as NP, and let's import pandas. And when I say pandas, I'm not talking about these little cute bears that live somewhere in China. I'm talking about very powerful library, pandas, that stands for panel data, SPD. And let's import matplotlib pyplot. So that's very popular Python library for data visualization PLT. Now when you type your code here, you need to click this play button, run button, you see. So and then it will take a second, and then this code will be executed. All right, so this code will be executed, and I'm going to show you these three libraries today and how you could actually use them to solve real life problems. All right, now people would ask me all the time, all right, so I want to switch my career or pivot my career toward data science, or maybe I work at the bank or some other institution, I don't know, and I want to use Python, but I don't know where to start. Now, the first thing you need to do, you need to start with basics. You need to build this fundament before you move to this cool stuff such as NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. And my advice to you would be, so first of all, I would definitely recommend you to take our course, Python Intensive. However, if you want to do it at your own pace with somebody else, so first thing you need to learn built-in data types. So that's very important concept, and sometimes people underestimate this concept. So data types. So what is a data type? All right, so in a nutshell, data type is just a data container for data. All right, so that's what you need to learn. And in Python, we have built-in data types such as integers, whole numbers. And again, I'm sorry that I'm gonna go a little bit fast here because for one simple reason, because our goal today is to actually get to this stuff. And if you're curious about integers and all other stuff that I'm going to be talking about right now, please subscribe to our channel RoboticView on YouTube. Place us a like, because there are a bunch of videos that you could watch there where I explain all this stuff. So integers, so then we got floats, and float with any number with a decimal point, and then we have string. So string would be a sequence of characters, you see, in quotes, and then we have a list, and list would be sequence of items separated by a comma, and besides that we got tuple, and tuple also would be sequence of items separated by a comma. And the main difference between list and tuple, that list is mutable, so means could be changed, and tuple is immutable, means cannot be changed. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I definitely recommend you to start with basics and learn that stuff. And then we have a dictionary, very important data type in Python, where you have keys and where you have values. So the point I'm trying to make, before you jump into NumPy, Pandas, and all this stuff, you need to learn this and really understand these data types, because that's very important, because later when you move to Pandas, you'll see more sophisticated data containers, and they call them also data structures. So don't want to confuse you, because most of the time people use these words data type and data structure interchangeably. Pretty much they mean this stuff, a data container, but usually data structure is something more sophisticated than just integer or a float, you see. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. All right, without further ado, let me show you what we're going to be doing with NumPy and Pandas. Also, if you want to follow me, and I hope I won't go too fast, I'll try to go not too fast. So then if you need to run the cell and you don't want to click this run button all the time, so there is a shorthand, Shift Enter, and that would be shortcut for clicking this button. All right, so if you're with me, let's create a Python plain vanilla list, something like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. All right, so what I want to show you right now, I want to show you like my approach, how I teach NumPy and Pandas. So we allocate some time on that. I will explain you some basics, and then we will grab a data set, and I'll show you how you could actually apply that to solve real life tasks. All right, so here I have a list. Now a list is built-in data type, and there are certain limitations what you could do with the list. List is okay, but I usually like to compare these data structures with cars, with vehicles. So, for example, list in Python is a regular car that takes you from point A to point B. That's totally fine, but for example, you cannot do something like this. You cannot add number to the whole container. You see, it throws us an error. So if you want to do something like this, you need to use something called for loop and apply this math operation to all items within this container. All right, so that's one thing. So then another thing, if you take a list and add it to itself, what's going to happen? So you'll just extend the list with itself. And the point I'm trying to make here, I'm just trying to remind you behavior of this data structure of this container. That's how it works, all right? Now, that's kind of cool, but what if you need to move faster? So then you need to use some sort of race car. And that is why we have this library called NumPy. So NumPy stands for numeric Python, and convention is that you import it as NP. All right, so NP pretty much just a variable name. You could import it as banana, but that's kind of convention. Unless you're trying to confuse everybody, including yourself, you should import it as NP, because people too lazy to type NumPy all the time. Now let me remind you that if you take NP here, place period, you're going to see this pop-up window, and that's pretty much function dir. And function dir is Python built-in function. Usually I explain that everything like in Python intensive course. And by the way, we're going to start that course tomorrow at 6 p.m. So please go to our website and check this course, Python Intensive. That's where we teach all the basics. And so you see, so this alternative to running this function dir. So the point I'm trying to make, there is no need to remember like everything, you see. Now, my approach of teaching Python, and I've been teaching Python for more than 9 years now, so is that I'm just trying to be logical. So if you don't remember something, or if you don't know something, you could always find an answer. So you see NumPy, and here we immediately see all built-in functions, all right? Or again, you could do just period, and then you'll see this pop-up window. And function I'm looking for is NumPy array. Okay, so NumPy array. Now, if you have no idea how function works or what function does, you could point here, and then it should pop up. Okay, for some reason it's not popping up anything. I don't know why. But if it's not popping up anything, you could always run help on this function. And basically what's going to happen, okay, let me move it here. So basically what's going to happen, it will get you definition of this function. So first of all, it will give you all arguments that you could actually pass into this function. And also, because again, some functions might take a gazillion number of arguments that's impossible to remember. So that's why I'm teaching like how do you find this information logically without like memorizing everything, because in my opinion it's impossible to memorize everything. So you see here, you immediately see what you could do with it, and then they give a bunch of examples. So what is array? Okay, so array is another container and we could take our list and we could pass it here and assign it to, let's say, variable name A. And what's going to happen, so this function will convert this to NumPy array, which in a nutshell, again, if you want me to simplify it, it's more sophisticated type of container. And if you want me to get to that car example, so that would be a race car comparing to list. Why it's a race car? Let me show it to you. So I could take this array and I could add a number to the whole container. You see, I could add the number. So that stuff that I'm showing you right now didn't work before, because it would require for loop iteration. But in this case, you see, this is more sophisticated data structure, so it's kind of faster. And you could apply math operation directly to the whole container. And by the way, I would really appreciate if you're enjoying this video so far, please give us a like, because then more people could find this video and could see this video. So I would really appreciate that. Okay. So that's the main difference. Also, if remember what happened when we took a list and added to itself. So if you take A and add it to itself, you see totally different operation. Because now 10 plus 10, 20 plus 20. So you see here, list extended itself, list with itself. All right, so here we're performing something called vectorized operation. So what is a vectorized operation? Now, NumPy array one-dimensional, and keep in mind that a NumPy array could be multi-dimensional, could be one-dimensional, could be two-dimensional, could be three-dimensional. So in this case, one-dimensional NumPy array could be regarded as a vector, and according to linear algebra, if you take a scalar is a fancy name for this number, for a whole number, and if you want to take a number and add it to array, so according to linear algebra, you have to add this number to all numbers within that vector. You see, and that kind of behavior, by the way, if you're curious, it's called broadcasting, built into NumPy array. That's why it's so cool, and that's why it's faster. And that is why when you work with NumPy, you don't have to use a for loop. And that's exactly what we teach in our courses, because you need to understand how to sort of drive this car, or how to deal with this container to be efficient. Because if you do the same operation with the for loop, that would take more time, and that would be slower. And obviously, when you have a race car, you want to go faster, not slower. You see, totally different behavior. All right, what's next? Remember, second library that we have imported is Pandas. So basically, Pandas is another library that's built on top of NumPy, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute. But first, again, you could take PD, place period here, and then it should pop up that window with all functions. And I'm looking for series. Now, when I teach Pandas, the first thing I do, I explain people that the main thing that they have to know about Pandas is that in Pandas we have two major data structures. If that word still intimidates you, containers. So series is one-dimensional and data frame is two-dimensional. That's the most important part you have to understand, because functions, because they're updating these Pandas on a regular basis, you might get some new functions, they might depreciate old functions, but you need to understand behavior of these containers. So series is one-dimensional, so I could take our NumPy array, and let me save it with the variable name as, and basically take a look what just happened. So we got same data, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. And then we got index on the left side. All right, why? So because person who created, I don't remember the name honestly, that's embarrassing, but you could Google it. So the guy worked for a hedge fund, and of course when you're on Wall Street you got money and you want to move faster. So he took this NumPy array and attached that index. So what you see on the left part is index, and basically that concept borrowed from relational databases. And the point I'm trying to make, if you take that series with the index, and you could actually break it down into two parts. That's also important to understand. Index itself, and you see I'm getting this index comes as a range, start, stop, step, and then values. And again, guys, let me remind you, if you just join us, we're gonna get to practical examples. I just want you to understand something, and I want you to see how different our approach in teaching this stuff than what other people do, because I want you to really understand how that stuff works under the hood. Because when you work with huge data sets, you want to be fast and efficient, and you need to understand that, you see. So basically that's the same array that we had before, you see here, same array, but they attach that index and that series one-dimensional. And since it's built on top of NumPy, so pretty much that series inherited the same behavior. So you could do s plus 5, and then you see what it does. It performs vectorized operation. It actually adds all these numbers to all items within that container. Okay. Yes, and again, let me remind you that there is a chat going on. So if you have any questions, you could type your questions. So question, can you do this same stuff in Anaconda Jupyter? Absolutely yes, because this stuff is actually built, so they borrowed the same concept. So that's actually Jupyter in the cloud, but you could obviously use this Anaconda if you have Anaconda installed. So absolutely right. So now let's move on. Let me show you a data frame. So I created this variable named df, and again I take this pd, because that pd, how we imported that pandas, place period here, and then again it should pop up and get us all these available functions. And I'm looking for a data frame. So data frame. So what is a data frame? So again, if you're not sure, you could always run help here. And by the way, they provide a bunch of examples. So you could take just this data frame. And data frame is two-dimensional container. So series is one-dimensional, data frame is two-dimensional. So here when you run help, they provide you with a bunch of different examples. And the most important part you need to understand when you're making your first steps with pandas is that data frame is specialization of a dictionary. Remember where we started today, we were talking about dictionary. And what it means that you need to know built-in data types really good, because that's what they use in here. And what I mean by specialization, I mean that you need to use a dictionary notation. So what I mean by that, okay, somebody's calling, okay, cannot take the call right now. So you see, we need to use square brackets, so that's dictionary notation. And then here, I need to come up with some kind of sort of key or label for a column. Let's say stock. Please do not take this as investment advice. So got nothing to do with that. Randomly picked numbers, not actually using actual data. And suppose I have IBM, and suppose I have, I know Apple. Have no idea how much is Apple these days, but just giving you this example. So Microsoft, all right? And let's do one more. Let's say Oracle. So you see what I'm doing? I just created column. I just created column in this data frame, and I could add more columns. So again, why it's so important to take course such as Python Intensive that we're starting tomorrow, because if you want to do pandas, you need to understand that this part is a list and this part is a dictionary notation. So if you understand this part, everything else like really easy. Okay, so then here I could come up with a new column. Let's call it price. Again, not real prices, made up numbers. And let's say IBM is $115. Let's say Apple is $210, Microsoft $360, and then Oracle, let's say $56. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just building this data frame from scratch using a dictionary notation and list. And you see, now we got this column. Another column, and we could add one more column. And by the way, funny thing, you could even create an empty column. So for example, quantity. Now suppose we don't have this data yet, so we could actually place 0 because we don't have that data yet. And maybe we will get that data later, but the point I'm trying to show you that it's actually really easy to manipulate that data. Okay, so really easy to manipulate this data. So bam, now we got this data. So I'm using dictionary notation again, and I could reassign values like that, you see. And suppose I have 100 shares of IBM, let's say I have 200 shares of Apple, 300 shares of Microsoft, and 400 shares of Oracle. Take a look. I just updated the values, and now I got this value. So you see, it's really easy to update values and to change values. Now remember what I told you, that pandas build on top of NumPy. So again, you need to understand this stuff, because it kills me when I see that people would use for loop on for loop on data frame and on series. That's not how it's actually working. Why? Because again, our job here to go faster, not slower, and that's why we need to perform vectorized operations. So for example, I could take that price column, and you see, if I slice this price column, and by the way, there is a really cool function that people don't use very often, that's set, and that's what you need to use, type. And this type detects that when you slice a column, that would be series. Take a look. That's exactly the same stuff, series. You see, one-dimensional. So you need to understand that in pandas we have two-dimensional data frame, one-dimensional series. And when you slice a column, so this column will be coming as a series. So then you already have seen it, that with series you could perform vectorized operation. So for example, if I want to calculate total value of each stock in my portfolio, I could multiply price by quantity, and that would be an example of vectorized operation. No need to use a for loop, pretty quick and efficient. And if you want to save this, I would come up with a new column name, again pretty much like in dictionary. So that would be, let's say, amount, all right, and then amount, and then I could assign this value, and that would be a data frame. So that would be a data frame, all right. So that's how that stuff works. Let me see. Okay, so question is DF. Bernard, did you run the cell? Because every time you need to run the cell, and then you need to place DF here and run this cell, because everything looks fine. I don't see any errors. Everything should be working. Just make sure that you run the cell and you got this mark next to the cell, and then make sure that you also have DF here and you also run this and you have this mark. Otherwise your code looks totally fine. as far as I could see it from here. Okay, all right, so that's a data frame. Now you could do a bunch of things with it. So for example, you could filter it. Now how you could filter it, again, you could perform vectorized operation. We could take price, and I could say, hey, get me all stocks where the stock price is less than 100. So less than 100, you see, so that's my condition. Let me call it condition. And then you could take this data frame and you could apply this condition to the data frame, and I'm getting Oracle because that made up price is less than 100. All right. All right. Yeah, that's great that you fixed that error. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this, please give us a like, because other people would like to find this video too. All right, and that's how YouTube works. So that's kind of stuff. All right, now there is only one question. I don't know how to do it, because what I did here, I prepared this link, but you could do this with me. How would I pass this to you guys? All right, so let me grab this. Later I'll add this to the description, so if you watch this video later, you could find this file, but I'm just thinking how to pass this stuff to you. I haven't thought about that because I'm using two computers and I don't have our charts running here. Okay, so you could just watch this, and then I'm going to give you, and then I'm going to also share this file. So at the end of the day, you could just watch me, and later in description I will add this file, and I will add link to this file too. So what I'm going to do, I will grab these libraries. We need to import them on the top. Why it's so important? Because library is a collection of function, and that means that somebody wrote code that for us. And okay, so people asking me to add it to chat. Okay, just bear with me for a second. I'll try to do this. Bear with me for a second, please. Okay, just bear with me for a second. I'll try to do this. Okay, I just sent you that in our chat, so you could grab it from our chat, but also later I will add it to into description. And also when I'm done with this file, I'm going to share it, and I'm going to put a link there, so you could actually, if you miss something, you can find it there. Okay, so now basically this is a CSV file that you could fetch information from. You could get information, like I mentioned before, from APIs, and that's what we teach in our course, Python Data Science Intensive. So that's what we're talking about today. So how to work with APIs, how to get data from Excel, how to get data from CSV files. So CSV stands for comma separated values. So if you're an Excel user, you know that. Now, basically what I did here, I actually pushed that file to my personal server, so everybody could read it from there. Okay, could not log error code. What do you mean? Could not load plugin? Let me see. So let's try to read this file. Read CSV. So that's a function that we need to use. I thought that you could get it. And you see, mine's working fine. Make sure you spelled everything correctly. Please check your code. And make sure that import NumPy as NP, Pandas as PD, everything is case sensitive. make sure you got everything spelled correctly. So, and then here we're using this function that will read that file as a data frame. By the way, if you point here, you'll see this pop-up window. So that's help, and you see this function, kind of sophisticated one, because it takes, I don't remember how many, 14, 17 arguments, and I will assign it to a variable named df, and I will run this. Okay, so I hope everything is working for you, and I hope that you fix that. And then we could do head, and that will reveal us five first rows of this data set, because again, you cannot show the whole, you cannot render the whole file, because it's huge, and it might contain many rows, might be million rows, not in this case, but sometimes that happens. So by the way, this is information about largest companies in the world. And again, don't pay any attention to these prices, because I believe that's kind of old file. I just want to show you how you could use pandas to work with the documents like this, all right? And I hope everybody got this stuff. So here I imported the same libraries. Here I got this URL where the file is coming from. So then I use read CSV, and read CSV fetched that data and returned it as a data frame. And a couple of things I want to show you. So for example, I want to see all countries that listed in these data sets. So one option how I could do it, I could slice this column, and remember, when we slice a column, that column would be coming as a series, and we could use unique, and unique will get us all unique values within that column. So we could see that there are a bunch of different countries with all the companies from all these countries. So unique. All right. So also, what else can we do? So we, as a matter of fact, we could do a bunch of stuff. But suppose I want to see, okay, very interesting. So how many companies located in, let's say, United Kingdom? Okay, in United Kingdom. So then there are a bunch of options how we could do it. So for example, what we could do, we could use method group by. And what group by is going to do, it will take that data frame and will break it down, and will use values, for example, from this column as unique keys, and will assemble all this information based on these keys. So here I want to use group by, and I want to go by country, and don't freak out when you see something like this. So that's a very common thing in Python. It pretty much tells us that this function returned us an object, and this object sits at this location. All right. Now, obviously, that's not what we want to see, but we need to keep working with it more. So if you don't remember all the column names that we have, I usually use this attribute columns, and that will get me all the column names. So suppose I want to take name, because I assume that's unique, and I want to slice this object by name, and then I want to use aggregation method count. So count will count this number of companies within each country. So that's one option how you could do it. And the reason why I like programming in general, because usually there is more than one way to do that. Or we could solve this problem by, again, we could take that country column series, and then we could use value counts. Value counts probably would be even easier and better. Why? Because value counts, comparing to group by, will sort this in descending order. because obviously we want to see countries with most of the companies. So you see value counts comparing to group by will sort this, because if we decided to go with this group by, then we would need to sort that. And again, that's okay, but in my classes I usually show different options how to do things differently. All right, so because that's good to know. And then we could assign it to variable name countries, and again our goal was to know how many countries located, how many companies located in United Kingdom. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab United Kingdom, and since countries is a series now, I could use method lock and pass here United Kingdom, and then it's going to tell me that, okay, apparently in this data set there are 108 companies located in United Kingdom. And you see, that's kind of cool, because if later you ask me, oh, all right, and what's the deal with Japan? So then I could do Japan, obviously with a capital J, Japan. And it will tell us that in this data set there are listed 224 countries from Japan. All right, so that's what's going on here. Now, a very important part when we talk about data science, and by the way, what is a data science? Data science is a storytelling. You're telling a story based on numbers. So there is very important part of that is EDA. EDA stands for exploratory data analysis. So basically you grab a data set maybe like this, and then you're trying to visualize all the data, and you're telling a story. So you see, you could say, all right, so in the United Kingdom we have 108 countries, here we got 224. All right, so what about market value? Because remember, here we have market value. So, and maybe I want to get that market cap, and it's in $1 trillion. So I want to clean it up a little bit, and I want to perform vectorized operation on market cap, and I want to divide it by 1 trillion, so that would be in trillion. And as far as I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, there are 12 zeros in 1 trillion, so it's going to be 6, and then 6. So that would be numbers, so it's kind of cleaner. And if you want to save these results, basically again, I'm showing you that we're performing the vectorized operation, no need to use a for loop. And now you see, so that data kind of easier to read, because now we have converted these numbers into $1 trillion. All right. And where I'm getting with that, I want to show you how we could actually plot this data. Suppose I want to plot these countries as a pie chart based on market cap. So then what I could do, I could actually use group by again, but this time we'll do it differently. So here I want to go by again by country, because I want to plot all values by country, and again it returns us object. So then I want to take slice by market cap, and then I want to use aggregation method sum, and you see we get this stuff. So let me save it as market, oops, not here, so market. Okay, by the way, little advice, because when I teach my courses, I usually explain best practices, and I help you to prepare for a job interview, because ultimate goal, if you're trying to pivot your career, would be to get a job. So I kind of prepare you for a job interview. And so in this case, what we need to do, we need to sort that. Because in the previous example, value counts sorted that for us, but here we cannot use value counts. So I'm going to use sort values. How would you sort values? Again, it's impossible to remember everything. There is no need. Just run help. you see this, and you see ascending, I will set to false because I want to see countries with the largest market cap. And then we need to save the changes, so we need to use in place. Yes, that's the best way to save the changes, in place. And I'm going to run this, and then I want to get just the first 5, so I will slice that data and I will get just the first 5 by doing something like this. So at the end of the day, top, you see I got these top countries by market cap. Okay, I'm gonna take a look what's going on in our chat, and I'm gonna give you a minute to catch up if I'm going too fast. Please give us a like and subscribe to our channel, because we do a bunch of these videos. We try to do them on a regular basis. Also, if you just join us, please check our website RoboticView, because here in resources there are a bunch of free stuff. You can find stuff like Python for Finance we're doing on March 25th at 6 p.m. It's also going to be live online, all our courses live online. And check out Python Intensive that we starting tomorrow. You could still get registered for this one. All right. And again, if something's not working or if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask me in our chat. All right. So one more time, what's going on here? So we kind of clean in data, take these absolute numbers, convert them in trillions of dollars. Then we use group by, and we split in that data set and assemble it by countries. And we want to see like market cap for each country. So that's why we're using method sum, aggregation method sum. And then here we need to sort, because group by will not sort this for you. And I'm using ascending false because I want to see them sorted in descending order. And in place is I'm saving the changes. All right. And then I just slice this 5, so I want to plot them. So how would we plot them? We'll use PLT. That's how we imported matplotlib. So if you want to plot them as a pie, how do you do it? Oh, gee, you don't know? That's okay. PLT period. And then you see all built-in functions, and apparently there is pi. And if you don't know, if you don't remember how to use this one, run help. And you see here it requires X for data, and then it takes explode, labels, colors, and a bunch of other things. All right, let's give it a try. So I want you to understand, and that's what I teach in my courses, and that's the most important part. If you run type on top, so that would be a series. And remember what we did before, series got 2 attributes. So if you break it down, you're going to end up with index and values. You need to understand that part, and then everything else will be easy. So then I'm going to take top, and I'm going to use values as what? As values as X data. By the way, a little hint from me, if you don't like this part, place a semicolon at the end, that will go away. All right, but we need labels. So then I'll do labels, and labels would be index. So I'll take top and I'll use index, and that would be index. You see, United States, France, India, Japan, China, and so on. So that's what's going on. So also we could add PLT title, and we could say top countries by market cap. All right, and that's going to be our title, you see. And also you could do a bunch of things. You could change colors. You could even take this United States, and if you want to emphasize that that's the largest country by market cap, you could actually push it away from the center, and you could do it. And again, if you don't know how to do it, that's okay, because you know how to use help. You see, basically what they're telling us here, there is keyword argument where is it, explode. So basically here we could do explode, and we need to assign a list. That's why it's so important to understand basic data types. Explode, and I want to take United States and push it by 0.2 from the center. Everything else will be there. So number of items in this list should match number of values in that top. You see, I just splitted this stuff just to emphasize this. And also I could do auto percentage. Auto percentage kinda confusing, but again, I explain all these different formatting styles in my course Python Intensive that we're starting tomorrow. So if you want to start with Python from scratch, and if you're complete beginner and never ever programmed anything, that would be the way to go. And you see this auto percentage, calculated these percentages and placed that stuff here. So that's how you do EDA. You start asking questions, you grab a data set, start asking questions, manipulate data, analyze this data, and plot everything. And you just plot this data. All right? Okay, so we have charts going on. So if you have any questions, please let me know, because we have kind of to wrap it up for today. And again, if you just join us, so check our Python for Finance is a free course that we're doing 2 weeks from now. So you'll find this information on RoboticView, Python for Finance. I'm going to explain you how to gather financial data from different APIs. And also, if you're planning to pivot your career, or if you want to learn Python and if you need this for your work, I would start here, Python Intensive. So we're starting this course on March 12th, which is tomorrow at 6 p.m. So you still have time to register. And then after that, we're going to be doing Python for Data Science Intensive and then Machine Learning Intensive. That's a really cool one, where we learn all the algorithms, how to make predictions, how to predict real estate prices, stock prices, and a bunch of other things. All right, so that's kind of cool. Now, as I promised, a little bit later, I will place links in the description to this video. And if you want to watch more videos like this, please give us a like and please subscribe to this channel, because I do a bunch of other cool stuff. And that's pretty much it for today. And one piece of advice, it's all about data types and data structures. If you understand that part and if you know how to use them properly, then everything else is so easy you won't believe it. And I usually get this question asked, like, how much time do I need to learn Python from scratch? I'd say it depends on how much time you spend practicing. I would say if you practice enough, months and a half, maybe 2 months. If you don't have much time and you want to gradually ease into Python, then I would say up to 6 months. But Python is not a rocket science. It's kind of easy to learn, and but you need to start with basics and learn built-in data types. All right, so pretty much that's it for today. We got a couple of minutes left. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm still in our chat. Yes, I'm sorry that obviously in actual class is much slower, but you see I had to squeeze so much information into 1 hour. So obviously all our classes will go slow, and you could, like, we usually use Zoom, not YouTube, and you could ask questions and I'll be answering your questions. And also, if something's not working, you could share your screen and I could help you and fix your code. And obviously, I understand that that was really fast, but we had just 1 hour, so sorry about that. And obviously, so here, if you go to our site, it says money back guarantee. So if you don't like something and you just and you just took one first session, you don't like it, so we will refund you in full, no question asked, so that there is no risk at all right? So that's, so if you don't like pace or anything, so you could always get your money back. All right, thank you guys for today, and please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. And also, I hope I see some of you in a couple of weeks for Python for Finance. All right.